Hello, welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and I'm actually laughing as I'm starting this video because I'm staring at this puzzle on the screen and it can't possibly have a unique solution, can it? This is a diagonal Sudoku created many years ago by Bastian Vial-Jaime, the phenomenal solver and setter from France. Bastian is one of a handful of solvers at the very, very top of the World Sudoku game. Definitely top 5, maybe top 3. I mean, incredible ability when it comes to solving. But clearly has some panache when it comes to setting as well. This is a diagonal Sudoku, so we need to put the numbers 1 to 9 on the diagonals. But look, we've only got 16 digits here, and all 16 of them are arranged along one diagonal. So, I mean, yeah, this is the sort of time when I'm just gobsmacked that this can work. Now, the reason this puzzle was brought to my attention was I asked Christoph Seeliger to have a look through the archives on the Facebook group I'm a member of and pick out some of the gems. And this was one of the puzzles that he really recommended we tried. Now, in the olden days, what used to happen is people would post their puzzles and then a lot of the world's best solvers would record their times. So we do have some data on how quick the fastest solvers were on this puzzle. 2 minutes 59 is the target. But I have got some suggestions. If you're an expert solver, they think about 9 minutes for this puzzle. And if you're a beginner, probably 30 minutes. So even if you haven't done a diagonal Sudoku before, this is probably approachable. It doesn't involve any ridiculously hard techniques, is what Christoph has said. So I'm looking forward to trying it. If you want to have a go, just click on the link under the video, and that should take you to exactly the page you're seeing here. And with that, I'm going to try and solve it. So I think there's a gimme, isn't there, here? These ones are going to give us a 1 in the centre. So let's put that in. Often the most important square in a diagonal is the centre, because obviously it sees more squares than any other square. It sees all of these squares. And down here as well. So sort of queen in the centre of the board. Now look, we've got 1s here and here, so as there can't be a 1 on this diagonal in those positions, and there can't be a 1 here because of this one, we get a 1 there. Yes, and the same thing down here, look. 1's eliminated from the diagonal, 1 here eliminating that square. So there are a couple of gimmies to start us off, thank goodness. Oh, actually, look, these ones and this one force a 1 into one of those two squares, but because of the 1 on the diagonal, actually, we can place another 1 as well. Pencil mark 1's on the right. And there's a similar thing going on this side with these ones, pushing 1's into one of those two squares, and this one eliminating the diagonal. So, nice. Okay, so we're off and running. Often the place to start looking in diagonal Sudokus is not to look at the diagonal per se, but to look at the numbers that are definitely not on the diagonal. So for example, these 6's here mean there must be a 6 in one of those positions, which I'll probably mark actually for the sake of good order. Oh, now yes, this is good. Look, 7, 8 here, 7, 8 here. So actually, where are we going to put a 7, 8 on this diagonal? It must be in the centre. It must be in those two squares. And there's an 8 here, so we're going to be able to get an 8 and a 7. And pencil mark some 8s into those two squares. And 5s, look, these 5s and this 5 mean there's a 5 here, taking up one of the squares we've got a 1 in. So that's a 1 and that's a 1. And these two squares in the centre, just to complete that 3 by 3, must be 2 and 4. And 8's here. mean this is an 8. And oh, this is so beautifully done, isn't it? Look at this. So now this 8 we've just solved, and this 8 mean that we haven't got an 8 on the diagonal yet, so it's going to have to appear down here. But look, this 8 and this 8 communicate with the diagonal, and they force the 8 down into the bottom right hand side. It's lovely. 8's into those squares as well. Ah, and this 8 obviously sees that one. So that must be an 8. Oh, and he's done the same thing with the 7s now. Oh, these two 7s are gorgeous. Look at the way these interact. So now, neither of these squares can be a 7. We've obviously eliminated 7 from those squares, so the 7 must be in one of these top left-hand positions on the diagonal. And we have a 7 here. These same two 7s that eliminate these two squares eliminate these two squares too and force the 7 into the top left-hand corner, which means that's a 7. And these two 7s and this 7 mean that's a 7. 7 in one of these two squares. 7's in one of those two squares. Now we need to check this bottom right box. So no. Oh, okay. So we can't. No, I can't see how to. We can eliminate. Well, the 7's in one of those squares, but I don't really see how to make more progress with that. Okay, so we're going to have to look for something else. What could that be? 5's, 7's. We've got no 4's at all in the grid. Let's have a look at this diagonal, because we have got 5 digits on it now. We need 3, 5, 6, and 9. Yes, that square, look. That sees a 6, a 5, and a 9. This one can only be a 3. And can we get anything more from that? Let's check the rest of it. So 5, 6, and 9 into those positions. This one can only be a 6 or a 9. I'm going to notate that. Oh, the 5's, look. These two 5's are doing the same thing, eliminating 5 from those two squares. So this must be a 6 or a 9, and therefore this is a 5 up here. And now there must be a 5 on the diagonal in the top right-hand corner, which we could have got anyway had I focused on 5's actually. Now look at this, 9 here and 9 here. So in this row, where can we place a 9? Well, only in one of those two squares. And if we check the diagonal, there's a 9 there and a 9 there. So I need to put a 9 on the diagonal up here. So there's only one candidate left. It must be in this position. This 9 now sees the 9 and the 6. That's stunning. That one. There must be a 9 either here or here. And in one of those two squares as well, because of the 9's in these two positions. Nine in one of those two squares, 9 in one of these two squares. Now, yes, look, we've got 6 numbers in this column, and we need 2, 3, and 4 to complete it. Now, this square sees a 3 there, so that can only be a 2 or a 4, which meets its friend in this square. So we've now got a 2, 4 pair here. Let's just have a look at this. So now we've got effectively 7 digits fixed in row 6. So we need 6 and 9. Ah, yes, 6 and 9. So that's a 6. So this square can only be a 9. Well, that's a 9 over there. This must be a 6. That's 6. Is this 6? Which means this is a 6. Must be a 6 in one of these two squares. Oh, now look, these 6s and this 6 force a 6 into that square, which gives us a 9. These two squares must be a 9, and these 6s mean this must be a 6. Oh, now look, 6, 6. So we can eliminate the 6 from this square. And this is going to be the 6. Now, the moment I place this 6, that 7 is forced, and this 9 is forced, just unwinding the pencil marks that we put in. Now this is a 9. I mean, the way this is being set up is just beautiful. 7 must be here now. That fixes that 7. These two squares must be 2 and 4, and there's a 2 here, so we can do those. That's a 2, that's a 4. This 4 fixes a 4 in one of those squares. This must be a 3. So one of these squares is a 3, one of these squares is a 3, which we sort of knew if I'd focused on it. This 5 forces a 5 into one of those two squares. So there's a 5 in one of these two positions as well. And as we've got 4, 5 on this diagonal, I must remember to look at the diagonals. We've got effectively 7 digits on this diagonal here. So we need a 2 and a 3 into those positions. Now, bobbins, I thought that would give us it, but I don't think it does. 2, 3, but it gives us this square. That must be a 4 to complete the box. Well, there's a 4 in one of these squares. Ah, now this 4 is nice as well, because it forces neither of these squares can be a 4 now. The 4 must be down here. Therefore, these two squares now form a 3, 4 pair. We can eliminate the 2. The 2 must be here. That means that's a 4, that's a 2. In one of those squares because of these 2's interacting. 3, 4 here, so this must be 2, 5, and there's a 2 here. So yeah, we're still on track. 5, 4 into those squares. Now this must be a 4. Now this must be a 4. These two squares have got to be 2 and 3. That marries up with that 2 and 3, which is now fixed by the right hand side 2 there. So this is 3, this is 2, this is 3, this is 2, this is 3. That should be a 6, I think. That looks like it is working. So we've done all the diagonals. We're just left with normal Sudoku now. 3's and 4's into these squares. That means this is a 3. That all unwinds there. Look. Oh no. Misclicked. 4, 5 there. This is now a 5. That means that's an 8, and this is a 2. This 8 fixes this is an 8, and if that is a 2, check. Yes. What a beautiful puzzle. I mean, it's stunning. It's just stunning. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Do let us know in the comments. One of the main reasons we do the channel is to get feedback on these wonderful puzzles that we show on the videos. So let us know what you thought. We really appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up, retweet or tweet about us, Instagram us, do anything you can. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching. Back soon with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.